Run.
Well, welcome everybody to yet another episode of On the Run. And yes, another week of Pink Andrew. I'm still here at Jakarta, Manila in this very pink room, which makes my already pink face look even pinker, but that's okay. And I'm having a great time here at Jakarta, Manila. Actually, I'm just about to go downstairs and have a nice lunch at the Japanese restaurant and check that out. So I'm really looking forward to that. And happy Easter to everyone. This is coming at you a day earlier because tomorrow is Good Friday. Well, tomorrow for you, actually 2 days away for me. And that's where we're at. Now, the April issue of IAG is out. The cover story is back with a bang, all about Macau being back with a bang and Macau's wonderful rise since China opened up on January the 8th. Quite the antithesis to the August 22 cover saying Macau has fallen. So, you know, we're very fair here at IAG. When it crashes, we tell it like it is. And when it comes back, we tell it like it is. So that's great to see Macau back. And we're all very excited about that. And it's a really good issue. Some of the other stories in there are great too. So please go check it out. Now, quickly onto the news of the week. Let's start with Macau. GGR hit a 38-month high of 12.74 billion MOP in March. And so that works out to be 4.3 billion for all of Q1. Now, remember, the first week was not really a real week because China opened up on January the 8th. But the run rate at the moment is kind of like about 45 million US daily, which comes out to 16 billion a year. I suspect, and I have been putting this off, and I am going to make my call now. I suspect we're going to have GGR for Macau in 2023. I'm going to put a number on it. I'm going for 18 billion. Now, I know some commentators have said 20. I don't think it will be quite that much. I think $1.5 billion a month makes sense. So let's go for 18, and that's my prediction anyway, for what it's worth. MGM China and MGM Resorts said that they were going to work together and jointly aim to increase international visitation to Macau. Makes a lot of sense. MGM Resorts has got all sorts of resources and player lists and all sorts of ways to attract foreign visitation. I just make a cautionary note here that I don't think Macau is set up for foreigners. The current international visitation rate is 2.2%, counting international as outside of Greater China. And unless Macau makes some serious changes and a real change in its attitude towards foreigners, at the moment, it's not a foreigner-friendly place. It is purely set up for Chinese. And when I say Chinese, I'm including Hong Kong and Taiwan in that. Unless they make those changes, they're not going to see a lot of visitation. Why would any foreigner go to Macau? There are all sorts of reasons not to. Now, that's not to criticize Macau, but it's just to simply state the fact that it is set up for Chinese. And I don't think you're going to get that 2.2% up to the 10% that MGTO says that they want to get it up to. I just don't think that's realistic. Jobs fair set to fill 1,090 positions in Macau's IR. That's another story we had this week. The DSAL, the Department of Labor, and the IRs got together and did a jobs fair to fill, a little bit over 1,000 positions. Look, this is part of a global phenomenon I've been seeing as I've been traveling around the world, and particularly around the APAC region. Staff. Everybody is short of staff, huge staffing issues right now, people being promoted to above their level, junior staff where middle management should be, middle management where senior management should be, not enough senior management. Big issue. So this is a global phenomenon, and I think it's partly the Great Resignation post-COVID or during COVID, and there are other factors at play as well. So while it might be relatively easy and a known quantity to build a beautiful $2 billion, $3 billion, $4 billion casino or integrated resort, I should say, the difference, the differentiating factor is going to be service and staff quality. I see that as a big issue for the rest of this decade, actually, in our industry. LET Group, the former Sun City that's renamed itself, says it's going to focus on Manila IR development because Hoiana is continuing to struggle. Of course, there are issues with their investment at Tigru de Cristal in Vladivostok in Russia. Russia's not exactly flavor of the month right now with the international community, and Hoiana is struggling, let's be honest. And any talent that goes to Hoiana seems to be leaving. So, look, I don't blame LET for making this pronouncement. Philippines is the future. It really is the growth market in Asia right now. It's going to be the market that really, really increases in size over the next few years. So good luck to them. Let's see if they can reinvent themselves post-Sun City. 5 years after the landing Manila land debacle, some of you may remember that, Shin Hwa World says it wants to come back to the Philippines. So we had a story about that this week. 5 years ago, there was a big announcement, and IAG was there at the press conference, and their landing was about to announce that it had some land and it was going to develop an IR at Entertainment City. And then suddenly the then president, Duterte, fired the entire board of the, I think it was a semi-government authority that was giving them the land, saying it was a bad deal and they shouldn't have done it. Anyway, 5 years on, Shin Hwa World says, yep, we want to come back to the Philippines. And who could blame them? Jeju is not exactly setting the house on fire at the moment, and the Philippines is the place to be. Which is where I am right now. It's more fun in the Philippines. Here's a funny story we had this week. A guy got 2 years jail for stealing printer cartridges from the Singapore regulator. Now, I have to say it was $70,000 worth of US dollars worth. I think it was 93,000 Sing dollars worth of printer cartridges. Those printer cartridges are damn expensive. And he was responsible for office procurement. He over-ordered, pilfered the cartridges and sold them online. So got 2 years jail, and rightfully so. Theft. And he got the jail despite making some restitution. The Victorian government, down to Australia now, the Victorian government this week came out and announced that they were requiring Crown Melbourne to impose strict time limits on gamblers. Look, I think this smacks of nanny state. This is too much. I made some comments on LinkedIn about this week. If you're a problem gambler, restricting your hours isn't going to stop you. It really isn't. You're going to find ways around that. You'll do uncarded play. You'll find some loopholes. Or even if it is all carded, what are you going to do in the last hour? What are you going to do in the last half an hour? You're going to go sick. You're going to go crazy and increase your bets. So, in fact, it's going to create problem gambling, a little bit like the dare I say it, the entry fee at Singapore. It creates problem gambling. It doesn't solve problem gambling or address problem gambling. I mean, you can't legislate for addiction. You can't legislate behavior. You can't legislate for stupidity. You can only educate. I'm not saying problem gamblers are stupid, don't get me wrong, but they're not. They've got a problem. They've got an addiction. They deserve our sympathy, and we need to address it. And it's an industry issue. But what's next? We're going to legislate how many drinks you can have a bar at night. We're going to legislate, how much calories you can eat in a day. We're going to legislate how long you're allowed to spend on video games. I mean, it's really 1984 stuff. It's real nanny state stuff. And I think the government is just reacting because they need to be seen to react. And I don't think it's the way to go. Anyway, Star Entertainment Sydney CEO jumped ship 9 months into his key reformation role. Yes, the CEO of Star in Sydney, not the group CEO, but the Sydney CEO, Scott Wharton, who came from Commonwealth Bank, if I'm not mistaken, 9 months in the job and he's out and he's gone and he's taken up another role. That doesn't augur well for the organisation. The group CEO, Robbie Cook, needs to find a replacement quick, smart, and he's already said he's going to split the transformation role from the CEO role, which I think is a really good idea. But, some real problems there at Star. So we hope our friends at Star are able to work their way through these things. There was a really interesting, was it yesterday or the day before, really interesting House of Representatives Social Policy and Legal Affairs committee inquiry into the effects of online gaming. And in that, the Australian sportsbooks, particularly Barney Evans, who's on the Power 50, the CEO of Sportsbet, was grilled about their restriction of winning players. Well, as a former Advantage player myself, as a former winning player, I certainly know a lot about being restricted by casinos, and it's not any fun. Barney Evans said that if they're seen to be acting on privileged information that's distorting the market, we'll restrict them. Well, that wasn't the question. What about Advantage players who are not doing that? They're simply just cleverer than other people, more mathematically gifted. He went on to say, we're not opposed to the mathematically gifted customers, but the reality is they do restrict players who are mathematically gifted and skilled and don't have any information that more than the general punter has, but they just use that information better and didn't really answer the question. Naga, and then, by the way, that whole 9-hour inquiry is online. Naga World, their 2022 Q4 mass GGR came out at 117 million US, and their direct VIP is nearly up to pre-COVID levels, and they played unlucky, so it could have been even higher. So they had an adjusted EBITDA of US 59 million, if I remember correctly, and well done to them. And I was there last week at Naga, and it was pumping, and so that's yet another market in the APAC region that is back. Finally, Light and Wonder and IGT are sponsoring both the Manila and the Macau episodes of MAD. So Macau After Dark on April 25, Manila After Dark on April 20, the Macau episode at Sofitel, and the Manila installment right here at Akata Manila at the Chairman's Lounge. So we're really excited about that. Thank you to Light and Wonder. Thank you to IGT, to great supplier companies that supply our industry. Thank you for supporting Macau After Dark and IAG's expansion to the Philippines. So for me, I'll sign off. I'm off to Cebu on Sunday, Easter Sunday, down there for a few days, up to Clark the following Wednesday, be there for about 5 days, then drive back down to Manila on the Monday or the Tuesday in preparation for our MAD event at Akata Manila on Thursday, April 20. Then I will fly over to Hong Kong for a day and then back the ferry. Yes, the ferries are back to Macau in time for our April 25 MAD at Sofitel. And thank you to our friends at Akata Manila and Sofitel at Pont 16 and Success Universe for hosting those two MADs. And we'll see you then. And so next time you see On the Run, I will be at Han Casino Resort up in Clark, which will be very exciting. Have a great Easter. Enjoy yourself, and bye for now. See ya.
Run.